They thought they got away with it. They truly did. They stood on their glass balconies, looking down at the world they'd conquered, convinced that the people they crushed were nothing more than dust under their expensive heels. But they had no idea who they were dealing with. You see, revenge isn't a storm that hits all at once. It's a slow, steady leak. And today, the basement is finally full. Welcome to the Revenge Relay. If you've been waiting for the moment the scales finally balance, you're in the right place. 23 years ago, the name Julian Thorne meant something. It was synonymous with craftsmanship. In a world of plastic and planned obsolescence, Julian built things that lasted centuries. His company, Thorne Horology, was the jewel of the industry. But Julian had a partner, Silas Vane, a man who didn't care about gears or springs. He only cared about the gold they were made of. Silas didn't just fire Julian. He orchestrated a hostile takeover that framed Julian for embezzlement. He stripped him of his patents, his pension, and his dignity. While Julian was forced into a tiny, one-room apartment above a dusty repair shop, Silas was moving into a penthouse. So Julian waited. He didn't sue. He didn't scream. He simply sat at his workbench, and he began to build. Before we see the trap snap shut, if you're the kind of person who believes that justice is a dish best served cold, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't let the cycle end. Join the relay and make sure you never miss a payoff. For 2 decades, Silas Vane became a titan. He bought sports teams. He influenced elections. But he had one weakness: a hunger for the unique. He needed to own things that no one else could have. Julian knew this. So he spent 20 years creating a myth. He used anonymous forums and shadow auctions to whisper about a lost masterpiece: the Omega Chronos, a clock so complex it was said to predict the future, or at least control the present. Silas heard the whispers. He became obsessed. He put out a $10 million bounty for anyone who could find the creator of the Omega Chronos. So, Julian finally answered the call. The day of the meeting was cold. Silas's office was a shrine to his own ego: marble floors, floor-to-ceiling glass, and a desk made of ancient redwood. When Julian walked in, he looked like a ghost. He was thin, gray, and wore a suit that was older than the interns in the lobby. Silas didn't even recognize him. Why would he? You don't remember the ants you stepped on 20 years ago. I hear you have it, Silas barked, not looking up from his phone. Julian placed a small, velvet-wrapped box on the desk. It isn't just a clock, Mr. Vane. It is an accounting. The night of the gala arrived. The elite of the city were there: the press, the politicians, the very people Silas had used to climb to the top. The Omega Chronos sat in the center of the ballroom, covered in a black silk shroud. Silas stood at the podium. "Tonight," he beamed, "we witness the heartbeat of time itself." He pulled the cloth. The room went silent. It was beautiful: obsidian, gold, and gears that moved with the fluid grace of a living heart. But as the clock struck midnight, something happened that wasn't in the brochure. The clock didn't chime. It spoke. Using a digital bypass Julian had hidden in the clock's frequency, every screen in the ballroom flickered to life. They weren't showing the time. They were showing the original, unredacted documents from 23 years ago. The wire transfers, the forged signatures, the recorded phone calls of Silas Vane plotting the ruin of his partner. Silas froze. The color drained from his face. His empire wasn't just crumbling, it was being liquidated in front of the world's cameras. In the back of the room, near the exit, an old man adjusted his glasses. He looked at the chaos, the police moving in, the investors screaming, the look of pure, unadulterated terror on Silas's face. Julian Thorne checked his own pocket watch. It was a simple, rusted piece. The only thing Silas hadn't managed to steal. Perfect timing, Julian whispered. Silas Vane spent a lifetime building a tower of lies, only to have it crushed by the very thing he thought he could buy: time. If you found that ending as satisfying as I did, let me know in the comments. What would your revenge clock look like? I'm the narrator for The Revenge Relay. Thanks for watching. And remember, the clock is always ticking. Subscribe for the next leg of the relay.